Hey, what's up, everybody? So, this next episode, we had a suggestion to discuss some of the fighters' names, famous fighters, and, their association, and, if I had any stories or any ideas about them. So, pretty interesting. We had so much names that we're going to have to do a part two. So, this is part one. Enjoy. Right on.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamatodamashii podcast. You might notice that Enson is driving. He's on his way home. He's been doing back-to-back MMA shows. Living the dream. What was it, Shooter yesterday and then Pancrase today?
Yeah, and just to let you guys know, it's hands-free, so it's not like I'm dangerous or doing anything. It's a totally legal. I'm driving, and it's on my magnet thing and hands-free. Still driving with two hands.
It's all good.
Yeah.
How were the shows while you were on your way back?
Good, man. I mean, I actually enjoyed the Pancrase show. Good. I don't usually come to Pancrase, but one of these kids that I was helping train, he trains at the same place that I train Tsuyoshi. So his sponsor came up and asked if I could help him out. So I said, okay. And every time I was there with Tsuyoshi, I would tell him to come by and I'd work with him a little bit. So that was good. I just came, poor kid has lost 3 in a row. So I just actually came to support him. The Shuto show yesterday Shuto's always has great fights. So I don't usually go to Pancrase, but because I went to support this kid, Suguru, I went to, support him. And then, it actually ended up to be pretty damn good fights, man. It was exciting, man, the fights.
Oh, is it Suguru Ni?
Suguru Ni, yeah.
Ah, cool.
So he's lost in Rising, and he's been on a road down sweep. So, they wanted me to help him out. So I don't think anything I did helped him win the fight, but I think just me being there and just being the one that helped him, even though he didn't use anything I helped, I think it gave him the support. I think was like a big relief for him.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. So a bit of a loaded topic today. One of our viewers suggested a really cool topic. It's just a name association. Thanks to Josh Gage for suggesting that. It's going to be quite a cool topic. Obviously, Enson put something out on his social media. We've had tons of different names. So I'm just going to reel through some lists of names. Enson's going to give some quick thoughts. And we're just
every
going
time
to fire
somebody
away.
commented on that post, I said more names and then more names. I was like, holy shit, we're going to probably talk about every fighter there is.
I know, right? It was a really good mix, though. It was cool. I was really, really happy with some of the ones we got. But let's get into it then. Right. So
Okay.
I pulled them off from Instagram, Twitter, and then you told me, oh, you've got Facebook as well. So I had to grab them too. So hopefully I've got everybody's, but let's fire away. So first one comes from Instagram. Mike Go-Speed has got 2 names for you. The first one is Kevin Randleman.
Wow, Kevin Randleman. Okay. Yeah, explosive fighter. And out of the ring, the one of the nicest guys. I actually have a story about him, which is kind of cool. I mean, I know if I tell stories about every fighter on the list, this will be like a 5-hour episode. So just the ones that are interesting. Kevin Randleman. There was a time after a Pride fight where I went to Rome to meet up with Boss RUTTEN, Kevin Randleman. Who else is there? Mark Coleman. We're all in the room, and the guy from Murillo, I don't know his last name, but
Murillo.
Yeah, well, that's the day I broke it. That's the night I broke his nose. But this is a separate story.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you about that one.
It was the same thing that happened. It's the same night, but there was I don't know the girl's name, but there was a girl that was a famous girl from America, real sexy girl. She came to Japan to be like a special guest at a pro wrestling event.
Okay.
So she was gonna do some sexy shit in the ring or in her bikini or something. So I don't know what happened, but the boys kind of got to a point where we discussed where, why don't you do what you're going to do in the person ring on the bed so we can see and approve, you know, kind of joking around. So she goes, oh, okay, she's going to go change. So she goes, she gets into a skimpy bikini. And then it was so funny because when she was about to start, Kevin Randleman goes, fuck, I got to pee. Well, I don't know. Maybe he had to do number 2 because he said he had to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. But he did. We're in the room, so he could have went to their bathroom, but he wanted to go to his room. So it was so funny because when he went, he goes, wait, I'll be right back. So he went running to his room. Like literally, he went running to his room. As soon as he got down the hallway, not to exactly to his room, Boss Rutten and Coleman, they decided to play a joke on him. And they start screaming, going, whoa, whoa. So what happened was, by the screams, Randleman thought she started. So it was so funny because, like, seconds later, he comes bursting into the room. Like, whoa, what's going on? And he sees that nothing started. And he looks, he goes, fuck, you guys, don't do that, man. Don't do that. I'll be right back. And he ran. He really had to go to the bathroom. But that, you know, that was one of the incidents that I had with a personal incident we had with Kevin that was something super funny. Like, probably something out of what a fan would see in the ring. You know, you see this freaking, you know, his name was the Monster. I mean, he had a vertical leap that was incredible. Like the muscles, and he was like, ugh. But he was a real funny, comical guy, man. He's a super nice-natured guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, R.I.P. Kevin Randleman. Such a shame. He's gone way too soon, man. It's,
yeah,
way
too soon, man.
The next one on his list was one of the people you just mentioned, which was Baz Rutten.
Oh, Boss. Yeah, so Boss, I don't necessarily have a personal relationship with him. The only 2 things I can tell you from Boss is, I know from what I hear, he's like a super good street fighter, which is pretty understandable watching him in the ring. And what people don't know, I don't think I've ever mentioned, I don't know if you even know this, James. He is the first person I saw that had a tattoo on the palm of his hands.
Oh, okay.
And when I saw his tattoos, I thought, holy shit, that's a good place to have a tattoo. And the idea to get a tattoo on the palms of my hands was actually from Boss Rutten.
No way.
And I actually asked him about it. I asked him about how painful was it? And he said it was the most painful tattoos he's ever got. So,
wow.
And I will second that. He was 100% correct. It was the most painful tattoo I've ever had.
Wow. Before we jump onto that, I got to ask this, right? Because I think it was a long time ago, and you kind of just alluded to it. So Baz Rutten and Mauro Ranallo were once on the Joe Rogan show, right? And they told the story about how I think Baz Rutten gave Mauro a ton of, was it Percocets or some type of drug, right? And he basically, and apparently he tried to start a fight. Mauro tried to start a fight with you.
Yeah, that was the night. I think that happened after the Kevin Randleman incident, where he got faked out. You know, because after that, you know, then Kevin, after we watched that girl do her thing, and we approved. You know, so he was hanging out in the room with us, and then I don't know. I noticed that that Murillo guy was doing some real stupid shit, acting real stupid, and then Boss told me that he's on Percocet now, and I was like, oh, Percocet. And I remember Percocet is like a painkiller that gives you a high or so. I've never done it, so I don't know what it's like. But from my understanding, it makes you a little bit weird. So he starts acting weird, and I'm standing there, and he starts shadow boxing at me, and I'm like, this funny commentator. I knew him from commentating, but I never knew him personally. Never had a drink with him, had never had a sit down and talk with him, nothing. But he knew who I was, I knew who he was. He's jabbing at me, and he got closer and closer to a point where I was saying, this is not going to end up good if he keeps going. And what happened was he jabbed, and he mistakenly overcompensated his punch, and it hit my drink. And it spilled on the floor, the drink I was holding. I then looked at him and I said, he goes, I'm sorry. And I said, fuck you. I said, lick it up now. So he goes and licks it up. He goes, bends down all on his floor to lick it up. And then before he starts licking, he starts impersonating a dog. Like he's playing off what I'm making as a punishment. Like, woo, 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 woo. And he's making like he's wagging his tail. And then he goes to lick it up. And when he starts barking and almost like, I guess, in a way, making fun of the whole situation, Boss Luton thought it was funny. And I remember Kevin Randleman, as soon as he hit my drink and I told him to lick it up, I remember Kevin Randleman was like, oh shit. So he was anticipating things not going too well. And so what happened was when he did that, and I thought he was like almost like mocking me in a way. So I just thought, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking step on the back of his head, And I've stepped on 2 people in the back of the head, and I found out that when you step on someone on the back of the head and they have their face to the ground, it doesn't take much to break a nose. And the first guy I did it was in a street fight, and he was getting up, and I did it, and I did it a little harder, but so I figured, okay, I'll do it lighter this time because that street fight guy broke his nose. It was really bad, a lot of blood. So I figured, okay, I'm not going to go as hard this time, and I literally tapped his head, and I guess it was overcompensated, and his head hit the ground, his nose hit the floor, and his nose just started streaming blood. So that was that story about that. I think that's the story that Boss Luton talked about on his with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know where to go after that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mora learned valuable lessons that day, but he's a great commentator. So hopefully you guys can laugh about it now, right? So
yeah, well, I haven't seen him for a long time, so
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what happens when I see him next.
Yeah, he might run away.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
So Tubes671 asks about a potential future episode in Randy Couture.
Oh, definitely. Randy, I'm on good terms with him. He actually has some of my bracelets. I made him, I think, 3 of them already, and he loves the Power Stone bracelets, so he has a bunch of those. We're on good terms. I've seen him before. We've said hi. We talked. I guess we fought. We had a bond. So, yeah, most definitely. It's just getting in touch with him, finding his time and my time is definitely. Hopefully, maybe when our podcast comes to the episode where we're talking about the Randy Couture fight.
It's coming up.
Or did we already talk about that? No, yeah, not yet. Yeah.
No, it's coming up.
Yeah. So maybe then we could get him on for that. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I am _Ven has got quite a few names, so I'm gonna maybe we do a bit of a quick fire on this one. Masato,
warrior, man. That guy was a warrior. I mean, he's good looking. A lot of girl fans, and a lot of guys that are real good looking, they're too worried about their looks and shit. But Masato was a freaking warrior, man. He was not only good, he was not only tough and could take a punch. He fought like a warrior. He went down to knock people out. So a lot of respect for him. He did make a real stupid comment about the incident where I had the riot in the ring after one of Shoshi's fights.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little chat with him in the future for sure. But other than that, like the guy, freaking warrior, an awesome fighter, man. Awesome. Real nice guy. You know the thing with Masato, which is interesting, he's never been in trouble in Japan. He's a real smart guy, stays straight line, drives a straight line, and never gets in trouble, man.
Nice. Next is BUKAOW.
BUKAOW, I don't know him much. I just know him from K1.
Mm-hmm.
When I met him, when one of my students fought in K1, super nice guy, very quiet, soft-spoken, and I think he's a freaking awesome fighter. Funny thing about BUKAOW is he came and dominated K1 for a bit, but what people don't realize that he's actually not like the top in Thailand. He's a
Yeah.
good fighter in Thailand, but there's a lot more fighters that are really good. And what people don't also know is that Japan has a way of curbing the fighters that come into Japan. So like the K1 now, they used to let Gale fight, and when I try to get some of Santi Inoue students in, they refuse. They said the only person from Thai we're bringing in is Gale. So they call it a world title match, but they don't bring the Thai champion. So I mean, obviously, the Thai fighters are way too strong, so that's why they don't do that. But
Yeah.
that's one of those. BUKAOW, super famous, super good, but not really like the best Thai fighter that most people want to think.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times actually. That sort of criticism of K1. So, yeah. Next on his list is Colby Covington.
Okay, well, the thing that I don't really care or have a good feeling about Colby is he runs to the police a lot. Every little thing he has goes to the police. So for me, to each his own. But I have a hard time respecting someone that every little thing that happens, he runs to the police. Wordum, Fabricio Wordum hits him with a boomerang, throws a boomerang at him, goes to the police. Masavo attacks him on the street, goes to the police. I mean, hard to respect that. But as a fighter, super good fighter, man. Awesome wrestling and awesome stamina.
Another welterweight, possibly the greatest welterweight of all time, Mr. George St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre, yeah. Well, one of the first well-rounded fighters, that had everything. Had his wrestling, had his striking, and had his ground. Another great ambassador, very respectful. And the cool thing I think maybe this is the reason why I also like him too, is when I ran into him in Japan, he actually came from his side to say hi to me, which is pretty cool because he was like getting mobbed by fans, and he saw me and he just came up and wanted to shake my hand. So
wow, that's cool.
It's cool that it's nice to see when the famous fighters nowadays they pay respects to the OGs and the people who created the platform that they're on.
Yeah, it's really cool. You just went up in my books even more. So switching to present day right now, Israel Adesanya.
Wow, just amazing fighter. Don't know him personally, but damn, that guy just is almost like a modern day Anderson Silva. You can't really figure the guy out, man. He has such a repertoire that, I mean, punches come from all angles. In a position that he's not supposed to be able to deliver a punch, he delivers a punch. I mean, amazing guy. Speaking of Adesanya, I'm just wondering what's going to happen with the next fight with what's the guy's name? Pereira,
yeah.
Pereira, yeah, because apparently that guy's up and up with him in kickboxing.
Yeah.
If not, got the upper hand and knocked him out once. And I just really can't see Adesanya taking him to the ground. I mean, I'm sure Adesanya, being an MMA fighter, is a well-rounded fighter, but I'm thinking it's going to be a striking war. And to think that this guy has actually knocked him out once or beat him once and then knocked him out the second time, whether, Adesanya might have been winning the second fight until he got knocked out. Still, this guy definitely has the tools to beat Adesanya, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, overall, Adesanya seemed like a real nice guy. And as far as fighter-wise, one of the greatest of all time, man.
Indeed. A bit more of a controversial name, Badr Hari.
Badr Hari. I don't know him personally. I don't even know him as a person. I know the only thing I know about him is once he got into the Pride ring, and I don't know if it was about selling the fight or trying to do something, but he went into the ring and he shit-talked MMA fighters. He came in and he said that he challenges any MMA fighter to a kickboxing fight where they can stop doing all this gay shit, hugging and cuddling shit, and be real fighters. He actually said that. Alistar stepped up, and we know what happened. Alistar knocked him out. So I don't know what happened. if I had to take a guess on Badahari, I think he's a cocky person and don't care for him.
Wanderlei Silva.
Wanderlei, I mean, one of the legends of the sport. The sport is what it is today, and you know, I think a part of it is definitely Wanderlei Silva. Um, I met him personally in the back, but I never got to really know him because I always wanted to fight him, and every fighter that I was potentially going to fight in there, I never wanted to get too friendly with him because, as you know, when I fought, it was about kill or be killed, and I just felt that becoming friends with someone that I was potentially going to fight would make it harder for me to really want to hurt or kill him. So I never got to know him really well. But when I've seen him around, you know, the fans and when we're in Pride, super nice guy, super friendly with his fans, and you know, I mean, I mean, I guess in my day there wasn't much of it, but he never did shit talk like you have today. So respectful fighter, and man, there's nothing good to say, nothing but good to say about him.
Yeah, you versus Wanderlei back in the day, that would have been a hell of a fight. I would have loved to have seen that. It's a shame
Yeah,
that one didn't come to fruition.
I would have loved to do that.
He's got tons of it. He's got 2 more on his list, and some of these other people have suggested as well. So, Diaz brothers.
Oh, I love those guys, man. They're down to earth. Tell it like it is. If they don't like you, they say fuck you. If they like you, they like you. I always liked the Diaz brothers. You know, of course, for me, I didn't really know. I don't really know Nate. Never really knew Nate. Only knew Nate. No Nate from now because of he's in the spotlight now. But back in our day, it wasn't even Nate. It was actually Nick, and Nate was just a little brother. So you know, as far as you know, my respect is definitely with Nick. Of course, Nate's on the, you know, they're like a piece in a pod. You know, so if you like Nick, you like Nate. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, Nate's a good guy. I mean, I know he loves his Pedro. I mean, his weed. You know, he loves his weed, which, you know, I have nothing against anyone who likes weed. Super nice guy. He's actually another one that when I went to watch UFC, actually I was in Las Vegas, and Dana White messaged me and said that they're having a press conference. That if I want to come, he'll get me some seats. So me and Sarah went to watch, and when we were leaving, you know, I know Dana was busy because he was doing some interviews. So I remember I didn't want to just leave, so I wanted to, you know, tell Dana thank you. So I remember I caught his eye. He was upstairs doing an interview, and I caught his eye, and then he goes, I said, "Hey Dana, I'm leaving. Thanks." He goes, "Hey, fuck, where you going? Where you going? Get up here." He wanted to, you know, he said, "You're a legend. Come up here." So he wanted me to come up there. At that moment, a guy approached me, wanted to shake my hand. It was Forrest Griffin. He told me he's a big fan. And then as I walked in the back to go to the upstairs, Nick Diaz came up to me and came up and paid his respects to me. Came and shook my hand, said, "Hey, what's up, Enson? How you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, we're on. What's up, Nick?" Yeah, so he paid his respects, like almost like someone who also acknowledges the OGs. He's pretty much an OG himself, but still acknowledges who I was. And then went upstairs to see Dana, and standing next to Dana, Ronda Rousey was there. She had no idea who I was.
Right.
And just, you know, Sarah wanted to take a picture with Dana, so she took a picture with Dana. I thanked him. He thanked me for coming, and parted ways. So, yeah, that's what you know, one of the kind of cool memories of when I ran into Nick.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, like you say, Nick's one of the OGs. He was kind of like that era just after yours, right? So, sort of carried it in the sort of mid to late 2000s. Chael Sonnen.
Sonnen. On the I never met him. Also, I don't even know if he knows who I am, but on the, you know, just watching him in the media, he sounds like a big mouth in the dick. But from what I've heard from some pretty good sources, that's all a ploy. That's all about a character that he's created. And I heard that he's a super nice. By the way, I also heard about Colby Covington too. So we don't know.
Oh,
But,
really? Wow.
yeah, I heard that about Colby Covington. He had to play the character. So I know Sonnen. I think he's admitted it before that he's created a character and talks a lot of the
Yeah.
talker. I think he was like the first shit talker, ever. Or actually,
Yeah,
the
he was
first
one of the
real
ones that did it
good
big,
shit
right?
talker.
Yeah, because I remember he started doing it in like WEC, didn't he? He did it like really early on, and then that's how people knew him because his fights were so boring, right? That like, but you'd love to watch the hype, and then obviously like the Anderson Silva rivalry just sort of catapulted him in terms
Yeah,
of sort of
because some of
getting
the stuff,
famous.
he's a smart guy, and some of the stuff he said in the shit talking, where he said that he beat Anderson Silva when he tapped.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
won.
yeah.
He was winning the fight before he tapped, and then he tapped in a matter of seconds at the end of the fight. But that's still he tapped, so it can't override the fact that he tapped. That he saying he won the fight, so he's not that stupid. So the only thing I can think is that that's his play. His being a
Yeah,
shit talker play. So I hear he's a
his
nice
gimmick.
guy. Though. I love to. I actually thought I was going to meet him when they came to Hawaii with Bellator.
All right.
Because when I was in Hawaii, Hector Lombard came by the shop to check me out. Hector Lombard and who was that? The girl fighter that fought for the title. Shit, Valerie Luternelli or something.
Laterna?
I
Is
think
it?
I just hacked her name, but
It's not Valerie Laredo.
shit, I don't know. Well, anyway, they came to the shop and he told me that Chael loves Power Stones.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so he told me that he mentioned it to Chael, and he told me that Chael's gonna come stop by, and he never did. So I was kind of hoping to meet Chael at that time, but never got to meet him. So yeah,
Cool.
that's the
Yeah, no.
closest story I have to almost having a story about Chael.
That's cool. Yeah, no, Chael was always insane with his sort of pro wrestling antics. And speaking of which, Anthony Gonzalez asks about two former pro wrestlers. Well, one current, both current. CM Punk being the first one.
CM Punk, I don't know him. Only see what I saw, but what I saw about him was, I heard that when he went to fight in the UFC, that he really trained hard. So he wasn't like this big famous wrestler saying, I'm gonna just come in my name and make some money. He actually wanted to be successful at MMA, and he actually went in and was actually training for it really hard. So he didn't do well
Oh, we're losing you.
over from pro wrestling to wasn't successful, but I can respect the fact that he actually tried to really make it seriously, not just trying to make it off his pro wrestling name.
This next one could be quite an interesting segue then. Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. I don't know. I didn't like what he did to Cormier in the ring. After Cormier won, he went and pushed Cormier. I didn't like that, but I mean, you can't deny the fact that he's a super athlete. You can't deny the fact that, just out of his wrestling and his power, he wins a UFC title. Amazing super athlete. And the other thing I know is he doesn't have a heart of steel. He might be a real tough dude, but when it comes down to it, I saw him break in the ring. I don't know who it was. I think it was Alistar. Was it Alistar? Yep. Someone that was hitting him, and he just kind of folded and almost like did a mini Bob Sapp. Like, don't hit me anymore. It hurts. So that was kind of disappointing to see. But overall, man, that guy's a crazy athlete, man.
Always really interesting to watch, even if people aren't a big fan of him. It was always kind of intriguing to see how he did. I was always shocked what he did to Heath Herring, right? That was a big one where it was quite like, wow, I can't believe what he did that to Heath. What else we got? So Nipponjin 804 Takanori Gomi.
Oh, Gomi. Gomi's a super good fighter, but he's like a confidence monster. Yeah. I think mentally he's not as strong as he should be. I think when he's on mentally, he can beat pretty much almost anyone in the world. But he has that little bit of secure confidence problem. I think personally, I think. I remember when he fought Nick Diaz in Vegas, in the first Pride in Vegas. I was there, and I remember seeing him before the weigh-ins, and it was just, I guess, because of the English and the not being in Japan. When he came up to say hi to me, it almost was like he felt really, really insecure being in America. And I remember thinking, like, holy shit, he doesn't seem that confident Gomi right now. And needless to say, everyone knows what happened to him in the fight. He got kind of got outclassed and outboxed by
Nick.
Nick. I mean, Nick's a super good boxer. And then when he took Nick down, Nick submitted him. So, I mean, I don't know if it's just due to the fact that Nick is that much better. That's probably a part of it, but I just didn't think he fought like the Gomi that everybody knows. Yeah.
He's also got BJ Penn.
BJ Penn. People like to talk a lot of shit about BJ because all the stuff that happens in the street. When he gets out of hand on the street fights. What people need to know about BJ is his whole problem is alcohol. He has a bad relationship with alcohol. I've seen him in Japan get drunk and get a little stupid. So, I mean, I know BJ, non-alcohol BJ, the nicest guy. I really wish people would give him a chance and see who he really is, not just judge on what makes the news when he's drunk, screaming at people, getting into street fights in the street, I mean, that's the alcohol controlling him. He needs to create a better relationship with alcohol. But as far as that, BJ, he's one of the few guys that when they talk about Hawaii martial arts, he's a very one that always mentions that how I was one of the pioneers, and because I was fighting before he even started, and he always mentions that how Enson paved the way for us. Not only that, when I had when I was I had a fundraiser in Hawaii for the triple disaster in Japan, the earthquake, tsunami, nuclear disaster. I had a fundraiser in Hawaii, a big event. So what happened in that event? BJ Penn, he had some kind of obligation with the UFC, but he got off the plane, jumped into a taxi, came straight to the venue, and sat there and signed autographs to support the event for hours.
Wow, that's cool.
So, anyone that wants to talk shit about BJ Penn, man, I know him personally. Super great guy, man. And, he's running for governor now.
Yeah.
And, I'm at first thought, I was like, what does he know about being a governor? And then the other thought I have is like, fuck, what does the governor now know about Hawaii anyway? What does he know? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a politic guy. I'm not into the politics, so I don't know. I can't say, but all I hear is complaints from my friends about how Hawaii's government is run. So hey, everybody thought that this billionaire talk show host couldn't run the country, but he did. I think he did a good job considering what Biden's doing now. So hey, maybe it's time for a change. What I can 100% back up is BJ loves Hawaii. And as a governor, he will do what he thinks is best for Hawaii. It's not going to be political. Financially, he's stable. It's not going to be about money. I've Never voted a day in my life, and I probably won't vote this year again. But if I were to vote, I think I don't know, man. Why not vote BJ Penn? It's time for a change, and he's somebody that loves Hawaii. So hey, give him a chance to see what he can do. You know.
There you go. Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a lot of people that are sort of relating to him, right? Because he comes across as quite like a people person. So good luck in his campaigns and all that. And yeah, he was mentioned by quite a few people. So hopefully people are happy that we got BJ.
That'd be cool, though, man, to say if he wins. I'd be cool to say I'm personal friends with the governor of Hawaii, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he maybe wants to get on the podcast as well at some point. He's always liking all your stuff.
Yeah,
so
I think he would love to come on the podcast. You know.
Yeah. We'll make it happen at some point. So look out for that. Right, we got so many still to go through. So some quick fire names. So Entaus has asked one of the biggest names synonymous in your career, Igor VOVCHANCHYN.
Igor, we're gonna probably touch on him on the episode. So when we cover the Igor VOVCHANCHYN fight, we'll talk about him in depth. But what I can say, just brief stuff, is freaking warrior. I know he fought for Pride. A lot he fought for Pride, and I think his pay was only $30,000 every fight, which is muchly underpaid. Super humble, quiet guy, man. Almost like some serial killer. You know, like how Federer was. They have like a super nice, quiet guy, but they can freaking try and murder you in the ring. Serial killer vibes.
Yeah. I hope he's okay, because he created like an Instagram, right? And he was showing all the footage of him like helping people in his country of Ukraine, going out supporting people. And then I don't think he's posted much recently, but so I hope he's okay and the people are still okay, because that war is still going on, right? So
yeah, he was bringing supplies back and forth.
Yeah, really cool to see that. So it's kind of crazy how you guys are similar in that sense, right? You know, when Japan was in trouble, you were out there on the front line. Ukraine's in trouble, Igor's out there on the front line. So, like, I don't know, I think that's quite inspirational to see that some of you OGs, as they say, carrying on fighting.
Yeah, warriors, fellow warrior.
Ensos also asked about Gary Goodridge.
Gary Goodridge was my interaction with him was he was a really nice guy. I shared a locker with him a couple times in Pride, but my deepest interaction with him was I won an arm wrestling tournament in Japan on TV. It was a TV arm wrestling tournament. It was just against me and some of the big pro wrestler guys. So what happened was after I won it, the TV, it was Fuji TV. The Fuji TV guys had this big idea about me going to a training for a year to enter the All Japan. And this is as I'm fighting, so
right.
I was saying, oh, it'd be like a documentary. They wanted to do like a documentary on me. So I was kind of thinking about it, and what I remember Gary Goodridge was a world arm wrestling champion, yeah. So
yeah.
I actually went and talked to Gary about that. Oh yeah, you got any tips on that, because they're thinking of doing that, and he actually told me that, you know, Enson, don't screw around with that, man. He said, because if you're not really an arm wrestler, they could actually break your arm.
Wow. So
I at that time I was a full-time fighter, yeah. So I was gonna do it as I fight. So for me, my whole life was about fighting. So it's like, oh shit, if that's gonna prevent me from fighting for years, forget it. So he actually gave me that advice not to screw with that. So I declined the offer to do a documentary on me about trying to train for the All Japan arm wrestling tournament. So
that's cool.
That was kind of cool of him to give me that little advice.
Yeah.
I heard he has memory problems now from
does he?
I guess the damage that he's taken in the ring.
Oh no, that's sad, man. Gary's one of those guys where I think it's sad how he's kind of been forgotten about a little bit, considering how much he fought in the UFC, how much he fought in Pride, and it's kind of like you never hear his name.
Yes, and how much he's done for the sport, man.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Simon Doyon, I hope I pronounced that right, has given a hell of a list of K1 heavyweights. So I'm just going to throw a few names out here. Andy Hook.
Oh wow, freaking legend! Another one that's gone too early. He died of leukemia, and he was actually training for a fight.
Yeah.
And got diagnosed, and a week later he was dead. It's crazy how fast it happened. But it was really interesting because I think he died around the time when I was supposed to fight Igor VOVCHANCHYN. Because I remember seeing him before the fight, and I saw him at a party. He came up to me and he told me, he was kind of giving me advice about watch out for the Russian hook, of how he throws it. He was explaining to me how he throws the hook. And then I asked him if he's going to beat her. He said, yeah, he's going to beat her. He passed, so he never got to go to the fight.
Wow.
But, I mean, he was like a superstar in Japan. So
yeah.
The fact that he took time to, talk to me and give me a little advice on what he thought would be work with Igor was kind of super cool of him, man. But damn, man. Just one of those legends that's just gone too soon, man.
Yeah, definitely. Andy always seemed like he would be like martial arts sort of royalty, like if the career kind of kept going, right? I mean, it's nice that he's remembered so fondly. But another one, unfortunately, that passed way too soon as well, Mike Bernardo.
Yeah, I heard he. How did he pass it?
He committed suicide, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's. I don't know for sure, right? But I think that's where I read that it was suicide. But
never met him, but I enjoyed watching his fights, man. It was a beast in the ring, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, a real beast, man. Fuck, too bad, man.
Yeah, you go back and watch K1 fights, Mike Bernardo always sort of stands out as being like one of the scariest dudes, right? Like you would not want to face just. And another one in the same vein, Jerome Labana.
Jerome Labana, actually, I had an interaction with him. He started doing a little pro wrestling in the ring in Japan. Yeah. And I've seen him at some events, and he's actually come out and talked to me and knew who I was, which kind of freaked me out because before I even thought of fighting, I used to watch Jerome Labana and, the K1, all those big K1 dudes fight in the ring. And the fact that Jerome Labana knew who I was, it was kind of cool, man. So, yeah, I mean, true warrior, man. I don't know him personally as a person at all, but, man, even when he fought, too, it was...
Yeah.
You had to, sit on the edge of your seat. Can you imagine, when he fought, Labana fought Bernardo, man? Whew, that was, edge of your seat.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? It's like two rhinos going at it. It was...
Yeah,
man. And then the final one is Bob Sapp.
Bob Sapp, personal friend with him now. Very good storyteller, very good fight hype promoter. Not sure he enjoys fighting too much. He doesn't. I don't think he likes to fight, but I think he's the type of guy that sees fighting as a business. Currently now he's calling out Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's calling out Mike Tyson either got to be crazy or they have a business plan. And Bob Sapp isn't crazy. He's a very smart guy. So it's definitely a business plan. So, Bob Sapp, for me, not necessarily a fighter, but more of an athlete. Super athlete. I remember before he got really famous in Japan, Josh Barnett was training him. And Josh, I used to go out and have dinner and go out and party with Josh a little bit. So one night before Bob Sapp was fighting in K1, Josh, we all met for dinner. Bob Sapp came. I remember we ate shabu shabu. And I remember that it was kind of, for me, I was saying, wow, this guy is so huge, but he's such a gentle giant. And I remember Josh telling me that Bob Sapp was like a freak athlete. The agility and the things he can do, is amazing. And for his size, what he can do is just incredible. So, freak athlete seems like Bob Sapp was,
Yeah. You can see that in his Pride debut, right? It looks just insane. It's kind of that similar Brock Lesnar. You know, where you see that and it's like, wow, the guy's a specimen. So moving down the list, how do I say that? I can't even read my own writing. I've written it down. Kampai Sugai 808. Rich Franklin.
Rich Franklin. I don't know him at all, but I have a funny story with Rich Franklin. It's super funny. He was, I don't know if he still is, but I think he's a spokesperson for One Championships.
Yeah, he is. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, when I was in Thailand actually for one of the One Championship fights, and I was gonna go watch the fights, and I saw him doing like an autograph session. So I mean, Forrest Griffin knew who I was, and I figured Rich Franklin's in the same era, so I thought, oh, maybe he knows who I am. So I, as a American martial arts fighter, I kind of went to say hi to him, and I went when I kind of stood, next to the line, and then when he caught my eyes, I walked over and she shook his hand, and he looked at me like, oh, hey, how's, like a fan. So he was nice to me because he shook my hand, but he had no idea who I was.
Right.
So I kind of was like, oh, he doesn't know who I am. But I mean, then I felt kind of weird, like, oh, am I getting big for my britches, expecting him to know who I am? So I was like, But I remember that. I just remember. So I can honestly say Rich Franklin does not know who I am, but I don't personally know him at all. So no comment on him.
That's actually a really funny story. It must be weird, right? When you kind of like have that, do they know who I am? Do they not know who I am? Like, it's got to be kind of a bit surreal sometimes, like that.
When he shook it, and I could say the stuff he's saying, like, oh, thank you. Like he's talking to me like I'm a fan, like, oh shit. And it kind of dawned on me halfway through, me shaking his hand, like, oh shit, he doesn't know who I am. And I felt so stupid. I was like, so I kind of just stopped shaking his hand. I said, oh, okay, and I just kind of left. So he thought I was like a fan that wanted to shake his hand. I'm like, oh, that was weird, man. But and I say, oh fuck, forget it. And I just kind of just let that be forgotten,
You probably remember you as the nervous fan if you like rushed off.
No, he probably don't even notice who I mean, if he does know who I am, he probably didn't even know it was me,
Yeah, maybe you found out after or something. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
or maybe he might. Yeah, maybe he probably doesn't. He doesn't know who I am. It's all good though.
Megumi Fuji.
Oh, amazing. Megumi Fuji. I believe one of the best martial arts fighters in the world. One of the pound for pound best there was. Men and women, man. She was incredible. Her striking lacked in the beginning, but she got super good in striking. But it was funny because when I did a walk across Japan, her and her husband Shinji, they met up with us 3 times to bring us food and to bring us, water and, help us out with the walk. And after that walk across Japan, I went and combed the whole Japan again to thank all of the people that helped me out. And when I stopped at, when I walked across Japan, her and her husband put me and Mike Fowler and Roman De La Cruz, the 2 people who walked with me, he put us up in an onsen.
Nice.
Let us go take a bath and let us sleep in the dorms in the gym.
Nice.
So we were sleeping outside every day, but they let us sleep there. So they took care of us. So when I went back to say thank you to them, she already was retired. And I remember asking her about why she retired. Because physically, she still can fight. She's still an amazing athlete. But it was real weird. What caught me was she, her reasoning was, it was almost like mine. It was like, she just felt like she was done in the ring, and she didn't have that excitement, and she wasn't willing to die in the ring anymore. So what people don't understand is she was like that kill or be killed type of fighter. Not many people used it then and still don't use it now, but she actually used that word die. I'm not ready to die in the ring anymore. And that's the reason why she retired. That was when I talked to her about that, it was kind of like, whoa. But yeah, Megumi is one of the sweetest individuals there is. But once she gets a hold of her arm, she'll freaking break your arm.
Yeah, awesome, right? Pioneer in women's MMA for sure.
Pioneer and one of the best ever, man.
Needs to be Recognized. So, going down the list, Mono Warriors. He actually did the artwork for episode 50. So check out his artwork if you guys haven't seen it. He asks about Shogun.
Shogun, I remember Shogun coming into Pride, but I remember him being Ninja's little brother. I never thought anything of him, and I thought, okay, who is this? Ninja's brother. He's a model strike fighter. Like, oh, just pretty good try fight in the ring. Oh, man. But man, he turned out to be like one of the best fighters, man. So, you know, I never really got to know. I never actually talked to him before. I know he did at the time when he was fighting in Pride. He never spoke English, so we never had a chance to talk. But from what I know from him, is always a nice, respectable guy and freaking warrior in the ring.
Cool. What else we got? Eddie Scoloro. Apologies again if I've ruined that. Asked about Phil Baroni.
Phil Baroni, man, super good fighter, hard puncher, and what I speak of personal experience from Phil is he's one of the best training partners you can have. When I fought in Hawaii, I flew him to Japan. He stayed with me for about a month, and we trained every day. And as far as the sparring, pushing me through the weight training like that, man, Phil was like one of the best partners I've ever had that was able to find that animal in me at the hard times and pull it out of me and help me train. I mean, when I fought in Hawaii against Tommy Sauer, I think I was in the best shape of my life.
Really? Wow. That's quite a statement considering some of the...
Thanks to Phil.
Yeah. Phil, man, he's one of those guys where if he'd come along like 10, 15 years later, he'd be super rich, right? It's just the era that he fought in is kind of, he was... Yeah.
He's in Mexico. I know he's in Mexico right now.
Wow. Living the dream.
Still trying to look for fights, man. He's still an active fighter, which is amazing.
Chris Edwards Bailey, who does the SEMP, South China Morning Post MMA podcast, which I haven't seen for a while. I wonder if they're going to carry on because they talk a lot about one championship, and he's actually put the name of Shinya Aoki.
Okay, very respectable guy. I don't know him that much personally. I've met him a couple times. Very respectable. I like the fact that he had he has that nerve in him too, that killer instinct in him to break arms in the ring like that. So I like that about him. I think he's another fighter that I'm not 100% sure, but what I've heard is he likes to hype fights. So he'll do stuff and act in certain ways to hype fights. And I also know that he doesn't have a very good relationship with Rising right now.
Yeah, right, because they didn't bring him back. So
yeah, well, he doesn't like the I think the unprofessionalism about Rising has this way of doing some show effects on it, like how Gabby Garcia fights little old pro wrestling ladies. Like, they almost try to match up the fight with Gabby and this lady Condolia. She's like a 50-something-year-old lady that's really not a good fighter. She's like one of the big heroes in pro wrestling, but she can't fight at all. She did some judo. That's about it. Her martial arts background. Also, you talk about putting in YouTubers in the fight. They had that Shibata.
Yeah.
And then, Shibata throws a fight, and then he's actually talking about fighting again. And I'm really hope Rising ain't entertaining it. So there's a possibility they might, because he's such a big YouTuber, they might bring numbers to the views to the event. So, with Aoki saying, this isn't a real association because they do a lot of circus shit. I don't blame him in a way, I don't blame him.
Aoki always seems like a guy.
He's also one of the best grapplers around, man.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Definitely. What we got next? Okay, so Masters of Senton who's got a wicked Instagram page. If anyone has not seen it, it's awesome. He's always putting up really cool clips from like old school fights and stuff like that. So always fun to see those sorts of pages. Has given you a huge long list, so we're gonna fire through some of them. But some old people from Shuto, MASATO.
He was known as a charisma fighter. Very popular with the girls. Very exciting fighter. One of the guys that could have done so much in the world of fighting, but his loyalty to Shuto, to just stay in the Shuto ring, I think it affected how, seeing what he could have done in the world, which he could have probably done some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrificed a lot because of his loyalty for Shuto, but getting paid back now, he's like the head of amateur Shuto, and he's huge in Shuto right now. So I'm glad Shuto gave paid back the respects that he gave to them. Mm. But I mean, one of the most amazing fighters that ever came out of Japan.
Yeah, definitely.
Super good friend today too.
Yeah, I always remember everyone always just talk about his flying armbar, right? Like that before, like YouTube was like a big thing. That was the like viral MMA clip, right? Rumina's flying armbar. That always used to be what people used to talk about. So amongst the hardcores, but
he actually taught me how to do that flying armbar.
Really? Wow.
Because I was actually thinking, you know how Randy Couture did a lot of dirty boxing where he held the neck in box. And that's a real good setup for a flying armbar. I remember before the fight in the locker room, I remember asking about how he does his flying armbar because I thought there was a chance I might actually be able to lay one on with Randy. So he kind of gave me the dynamics and where he puts what's the first step of his flying armbar and how he does it. So I still remember it today.
Nice. He also asked about Carl Inoue.
Carl Inoue. Inoue just a very average-looking guy. Always freaked me out how he had so many girl fans. But super polite guy, super nice guy, amazing fighter. I mean, amazing that Rumina never could get by him. One of Rumina's biggest rivals. But he has his own clothing brand. He's doing really good with. He sells at like the swap meets in Japan, like that. So really humble, real good kid, man. Love that guy, Inoue.
Yeah. One of the original UFC lightweights, along with him and BJ. Yuki Nakai.
Yuki Nakai was my first Japanese jiu-jitsu student. I gave him his blue belt. And currently now he's like the #1 head guy in the IBJF Jiu-Jitsu Association here in Japan. So he's like the chairman. So freaking warrior. Fun. He's a 100% warrior. Super humble, quiet guy too today. Super nice guy, Nakai. Yeah, he's actually the guy I sparred with first in the Shuto gym.
Yeah, we covered it, right? So if you guys haven't seen it, check out the early days episode. I think that was where we talked about when you first were in the sort of Shuto gym, which is worth a watch. It's really good. Genki Sudo.
Genki Sudo. I actually sparred with him. I went to the Pancras gym to spar. I sparred with Funaki. I sparred with Takahashi. And Genki Sudo was one of the guys I sparred with. I remember Genki being one of the... back in the day when jiu-jitsu wasn't really that well known in Japan, I think he trained in Beverly Hills with a jiu-jitsu academy. So I remember when I rode with Genki, I remember thinking, wow, this is one of the guys that, one of the few guys that really understand and move like jiu-jitsu. So it was kind of cool. And he, the biggest thing I remember about him is his ring entrances were crazy.
Yeah.
The dancing he did into the rings was amazing. Yeah, he's a super good showman. He's now a politician. And there was an incident where he actually stopped a burger from one of the convenience stores in Japan and got stabbed for it.
Wow.
And he's also done the Shikoku pilgrimage that I did. He's done it on foot. I mean, not on foot. I did it on foot. He did it on a bike. And he wrote a book about it. But yeah, he's one of those few guys that I know that's done the Shikoku pilgrimage also.
Nice.
Great guy.
And this will be the last one for this episode. And if we haven't got to yours, don't worry. We will do that in part 2 because it's going to have to be part 2 because
We're
we've got
gonna have
so
to
many
do
more.
part 2. I was gonna tell you that.
Yeah, literally. Steve Lee asks Max Holloway.
Max Holloway, a freaking great ambassador for Hawaii martial arts, man. After BJ Penn, he became Max Holloway. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think BJ, as far as BJ's legendary status is no comparison. No one can compare to BJ. But as far as like success in a career, I think Max actually has been more successful. Not sure, but yeah, Max, cool, great guy. I met him once backstage when one of his students came and fought in Shuto, and he seemed like he didn't know who I was. So I don't know if he was punch drunk or he just doesn't know who I am, or I don't know. It was weird though, because when I went to see him, I was kind of happy to see Hawaii boy, and I assumed he knew who I was. And when I went to say hi to him, he kind of looked at me like, "Oh, hey, how's it?" Like, "Whoa, what's up?" Like, "Oh, shit." So I don't know. Maybe he didn't know who I was. So I've had rumors that he's punch strong, but I don't know. When you hear him talk in the interviews, he's pretty sharp. He's real witty. Throws a lot of jokes and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe he just didn't recognize me or didn't know who I was. Was kind of weird for a real. You know how it's like a real awkward situation. And like, oh,
I imagine,
shit,
yeah.
I don't think he knows who I am. Okay, what do we do now? Should we just go? You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm pretty sure he knows of me, but maybe he didn't know that was me. I don't know. I that's the only thing I can think, because I know his cornerman. His cornerman was one of Egan's 6 jiu-jitsu students. I know his wife. I know the jiu-jitsu guy's wife, which is his trainer. She was BJ Penn's ex, and I knew her when she was BJ Penn's girlfriend. So I know his cornerman really well. So I know they know who I am.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He cannot not know of me, but maybe he didn't know that it was me. So I don't know. It was kind of fun. It was really awkward, but put that aside, great ambassador for Hawaii. One of the most, aside from BJ Penn or with BJ Penn, one of the most successful mixed martial artists coming out of Hawaii.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just do one more. Just it's a good name, Renzo Gracie.
Renzo, love that guy, man. Renzo, I got nothing but respect for Renzo. He was one of the guys that I really looked up to when I was fighting. If you're gonna talk about someone that him and Hoist would never give up, that's them.
Yeah.
He's also one of the few Gracie brothers that would put it on the line anytime. He would go into the Pride ring. He'd go into any ring, fight. I mean, give him shit, he'll slap you. And when you're a friend of his, he's I know he's the type of guy. I have a good relationship with Renzo, and I know if he's proven it to me. When I was having problems with the IBJJF, he came out from his side and contacted me and said, "Fuck Enson, let me help you out with that." Came up to bat for me on that. So I know Renzo loves me and Egan. I love him too. And if I have any problems that he can be of help, I'm sure I have no doubt in my mind that he'd come up and help me out. And vice versa, man. If Renzo has any problems with anything and he needs my help, I'll be more than happy to, go out of my way to help him or whatever he needs. So great guy, man. Freaking, you can't find a bigger warrior than Renzo. Super nice guy, straightforward, and a real person, man. A real person, a real warrior with a lot of honor, man. I got so much respect for him.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek Crystal, for submitting that one. We didn't even finish the comments just from Instagram alone. So in part 2, we will finish the ones that came in on Instagram. We will do the Twitter ones as well and the Facebook ones. So bear with us. We will get to it in part 2. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Any parting words, Enson?
Nope, that's it. Thanks for sending in the names. That helps us out. If you guys listen to this part 1, and actually before we even do part 2, which might be the next episode in a week or so, if you guys have any more names, add them in. Maybe we have to create a part 3.
Yeah.
So thank you for everyone for watching and supporting. And just to let you guys know, I'm looking at every single comment personally, and even if it doesn't require an answer, I'll reply back to every single comment in being comment on YouTube. So you want to talk to me personally, drop your comments, man. It's me talking, it's me looking at it. So thank you for everyone for all your comments and support, man.
Indeed. All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody. See you again. Bye.
What's up, everybody? That was pretty cool. We actually didn't even go through half the names, so we're gonna have to do a part 2. There's gonna be a part 2. If there's any other names that, oh damn, we should have asked them about this guy, put in the comments. We'll get to them. So don't forget to press the like button and subscribe. Right on, guys. Thank you.